Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. HTM here. In this video I'll be showcasing my new Arcane Archer build for the Greymoor chapter. It's basically a bow build for the Stamina Sorcerer class that also uses 3 summon pets. The pets do the tanking for you, making it a bit easier to do some challenging encounters by yourself, including dungeons and especially world bosses. For this video we'll be going solo against all 6 world bosses from the Greymoor chapter. I'll also be discussing the build in more detail, as well as how I handle the different challenges in each fight. And make sure you stick around all the way to the end, because each boss definitely gets more difficult as we go. So, solo boss battles for the Greymoor chapter, let's get started. Alright, so round 1 is going to be versus the SHADEMOTHER of Western Skyrim. I would say this is definitely the easiest boss fight in all of the Greymoor chapter. So let me talk about the build first. This is a bow and sword and shield build. For the sets, we're using 5 pieces of Deadly Strike, 5 pieces Kvatch Gladiator, and the Maw of the Infernal Monster set. For our front bar bow, we've got Poison Injection, Endless Hail, we've got the Clan Fear Pet, Focused Aim, Camo Hunter, and the front bar ultimate is going to be the Werewolf ultimate. For the back bar sword and shield, we've got Barb Trap, Heroic Slash, Echoing Vigor, Power Surge, Clan Fear again, and then the Greater Storm Atronach. That's the basic setup, though I do substitute different skills and ultimates depending on which boss I'm up against. For the SHADEMOTHER, we're using just the basic setup. Now, the main mechanic here is that she does travel really quickly around the battlefield every once in a while, and you'll need to follow her and actually stay close, because you want to be within this summon ring. Basically, this circle of trees that she puts up around herself, you want to be inside it when she spawns there. If you don't, you're going to take a lot of damage and probably die. So this does make the fight basically a close range fight, which isn't ideal for a bow build, but that's really the best way to make it work. You can see here, she's dying really fast. All I had to do was apply my dots, especially in execute range, and the fight's going to be over pretty quickly. Don't worry about the ads so much, just focus on her, and you will be good to go. All right, it's time for round 2, and we are up against SKREG, the undefeatable, also in the overland zone of Western Skyrim, and really not much more difficult than the SHADEMOTHER in terms of what the main boss does. The main issue in this fight, I think, is the ads, which we'll see here in a minute. So one of the main effects you can see is traps on the ground. Not a huge deal. I don't even roll dodge out of those necessarily. The damage isn't bad. Even the little spores or potions, I'm not sure exactly what they are, the bombs that he throws, even those don't do a lot of damage to you, though you do probably want to move out of them, especially if they're overlapping. But here you can see he spawns about 2 melee ads and 2 archers, and this is where it gets more challenging. You want to make sure you have your heal rolling, your Echoing Vigor, and remember you can use Magicka to cast the Clan Fear heal for a quick burst heal, so I kind of alternate between those. And then I just want to focus on the ads first. I want to get them down quickly. I'm not worried about the boss at this time, because the ads, especially the archers, are doing a lot more damage. So hit them quickly with a Poison Injection, drop down an Endless Hail on top of them, and they should go down, maybe with one more focused aim. Of course, while you're doing that, keep all your heals rolling. A nice trick here, if you're using the Atronach, as you can see, you can stun the ads. So I will save my ultimate. I'll save that Atro for those ad waves and drop it down right on top of them. That way I'm at least stunning half of them. And then I can drop down an Endless Hail, finish them off quickly, and then focus on the other 2 before I get back to the main boss. But overall, I'd say this boss is not too difficult. Again, it's going to teach you to prioritize ads first, quickly getting those down before you focus on the boss finally. As I said, archers tend to do the most damage, so you'll want to try to focus on them first. And then just keep moving. Watch out for the circles on the ground. And then if you can keep your distance, remember your bow does more damage the further you are away. So that's going to help you finish the boss even faster. Now on to round 3, and things are definitely getting a little bit more challenging. We are in Blackreach at the Vampire Feeding Ground, and this is actually a really fun fight to do solo. It's not just one boss, it's more like 3 bosses in one, 3 specific fights that are all different, with each one being a little bit more challenging than the next, kind of like an arena style, which is really interesting. Now the first few enemies here are really not much to worry about. First main boss we get here is called Doomclaw, and he's sort of a gargoyle slash vampire looking creature. Now, there are a lot of adds in this fight, so I did decide to drop my Atronach for the Negate Sorcerer Ultimate, and specifically the damaging version of Negate. So that's going to help me a lot with these 3 bosses and the adds that pull into each fight, making those adds stunned immediately and letting me focus more on the boss. So now that I have the adds down, I can do that. I can go ahead and back up. I can apply my dots, Poison Injection, Endless Hail, just hit him with a few focused aims while my pet's doing his job. He's taking the hits for me. And I was a little concerned, actually, that the AoE damage would be too much for the pet, but it's actually not. The pet has, I think, sort of a basic resistance to AoEs that make him take less damage than me, so it's all good. Second boss here, you can see, is the Harvester, and she actually gets affected by the Negate as well. She gets stunned, so that makes her definitely the easiest of the 3. So keep that in mind. You can drop a Negate on her directly to keep her stunned while you do damage. Avoid those little things that come out of the ground, though. They can hurt you pretty badly, so keep your distance in this fight as much as possible. Now she will spawn another add. So again, I'm going to keep my ultimate for that. So when she summons that Atronach, that's where I drop the second Negate, and then I just keep pressuring her with more damage. Now the third round coming up is going to be the hardest of all, especially with adds that come in at the beginning. So I'm going to actually slow down this fight. I'm just hitting her with light attacks for a bit because I want to get back another Negate. I want my ultimate ready for this boss right here, because these adds that come in are pretty dangerous. So I'm going to drop the Negate on top of them right away. I'm also going to focus this Archer, make sure I get them down. Basically, I want all the adds down again before I focus on the boss, because they're just going to do too much damage and be too much of a distraction. So you can see I'm just getting each add down. And now I can finally focus on the boss. So I'm going to go ahead and back up a little bit, let my pet take over. And this red AoE is no joke. This thing will kill you basically instantly as soon as you step foot in it. If you have one toe inside of this red circle, you are done for. So make sure you back away. Make sure you keep your distance. It can be a little bit hard to do when you're firing that focused aim, since it is a cast time ability and it's a little bit slower. So make sure you keep your distance. That's the priority. Keep your pet heals up on the Clanfear while you maintain your mobility, you maintain your dots on the boss, and it shouldn't be too difficult. On to round 4, and we are back up top in Western Skyrim, facing off against Isengard, the Sea Giant. And I did struggle with this battle early on just because I didn't understand all the mechanics. I think it becomes a lot easier once you get the hang of all the different things going on here. You can see some of those ice waves. Those will stun you and lock you in place, making you waste stamina, so you really want to keep your distance. That's why being a range build is actually very good for this type of fight. The ice waves can also stun your pets, though your pet will still tank for you most of the time. I kind of wish I was running the Bolt Ultimate, so you might consider that for this fight because you can't stun the Bolt Ultimate. Now there's another mechanic that you need to watch out for, the big splash wave, that huge circle AoE. You need to block that so you don't get knocked down. If you block, you still get kind of pushed back, but at least you won't get knocked flat on the floor. You can see here I'm actually too close. That's why I'm getting stunned by all of the little waves that he shoots out. Here you can see another wave. I'm going to have to block that. I missed, and my stamina's getting low, so getting a little bit tough here. Though I do manage to block that heavy attack and I get my pet back up. I think I lose the pet maybe twice. And that's actually okay. It's fine to lose your pet. It only takes a few seconds to recast him. And usually you're at full magicka anyways, so the cost isn't really an issue. Don't worry if you lose him, just cast a new one. He'll be at full health then. Again, here I still don't really have the hang of all the mechanics. I'm getting too close. I'm getting frozen by all the ice waves. The sweet spot is kind of right here in the middle. Block that wave too, but basically middle to long range is where you want to be, so you can sidestep the smaller waves as they come towards you. You can see here I lost another Clan Fear pet, so I'm just going to have to resummon him. I'm also pretty low on stamina all the time just from having to break free so much on this fight. So make sure you throw in some heavy attacks either with your bow or your sword and shield. Again, block that wave. You'll get pushed back for a second, but that's better than taking the stun. You can see my poor Clan Fear is getting... he's getting stunned like every time. He's getting blasted in the air. But we do eventually get him down and do enough damage, so it's all good. Round number 5 is back down in Black Reach, and we're facing off against the Dwarven Colossus. Definitely the hardest boss we've seen so far. Lots of damage on the ground, lots of mechanics, and lots of adds make this fight pretty difficult. Starting off with these flame lava circles that come out on the ground. Does a lot of damage, but in a pretty predictable pattern. Same things with the missiles that he shoots. Predictable and slow, so as long as you keep moving, that's basically the key to this fight. Just keep moving as much as possible. Clan Fear here thankfully does a good job at tanking the boss. Even a few of these larger adds he's able to tank, which is definitely helpful. You can see more lava just shooting out all over the place all the time. It's just tons and tons of AoE damage. I think what I should have done on this fight is I should have actually dropped Camo Hunter and run Hurricane in place of that for the extra defense and AoE. This build versus a usual boss, you really don't need Hurricane because the Clan Fear handles boss for you and you can totally save a slot. You don't need it. But with this battle, there's just so many adds that the Clan Fear, there's no way he's going to tank or draw aggro on all of them, so you're going to take damage either way. Also, healing in this fight is very key. I might have actually done better if I would run Crit Surge instead of Power Surge, because my pet's doing fine. He's tanking all the damage. It's really me getting blasted by these adds that is the problem, because there's just so many spiders and other dwarven automatons all over the place that are really doing a lot of damage to me. You can see here I'm running a bit low on resources, so I have to throw in those heavy attacks on the back bar. Lots of adds pressuring me. Thankfully, I have enough magicka, so I can use that Clan Fear heal. That's a nice backup heal for sure. Then I'm able to drop the negate and stun most of those adds, and it does AoE damage at the same time, which helps me finish them off faster, so I can focus again on the boss. Again, throw in a couple heavy attacks as needed, and save those negates for the adds when they come out. Here the boss is extremely low health, so I'm just going to make sure I have Poison Injection on. That does do extra bonus execute damage, so that's really going to be all I need to finish him off and survive this pretty crazy boss battle. And that brings us to the 6th and final round. In my opinion, the most difficult world boss in the Greymoor chapter, at least if you're solo, that is, and that is the Holdrick clan of werewolves in Western Skyrim. 3 main bosses that you fight at once, each with their own separate abilities, and once you get them low health, they actually transform into a werewolf, go back to full health, and do even more damage to you. So this fight is definitely challenging. I definitely died a few times figuring out a good strategy for this, but here's what worked for me. So Holdrick is the most powerful. You don't want him to transform until all the other enemies are gone. So that's something to keep in mind. I also took so much damage at first that I decided just to throw on Hurricane just for the extra damage mitigation and the extra speed. Basically, my plan is to focus on Otal, the first melee boss, get him down, he'll transform, and then I also slotted the bow ultimate because I want to get each werewolf dead as quickly as possible once they transform. So that's what I'm doing. I'm focusing on one boss at a time, ignoring Holdrick for now. I'm going to save him till the end, and then once that boss transforms into a werewolf, burst him down with my Ballista ultimate. So now I'm on to boss number 2, which is Vig the Archer. Again, I'm going to apply single target damage over time if I can. There you can see Vig transforms as well into her werewolf form. She actually summons some of those direwolf pets, which are really annoying, but you just got to deal with it. Make sure you keep your vigor up. Make sure you use that burst heal from the Clan Fear as much as possible. Like the last round with the Dwarven Colossus, so many adds here makes it hard for the Clan Fear to tank, so you are going to take some damage. But we're able to survive that, and thankfully once we get Hordrick alone, the fight is actually a bit easier. Now the only thing to note about this is once he does transform, his werewolf abilities will one-shot you. They do probably close to 20k, if not a little bit more, if you do get hit by those, so make sure you don't get hit, otherwise the fight is over. You can see actually once he transforms, he's invulnerable for a few seconds. I wasted part of my Ballista ultimate on that, so you want to wait until you can do damage to him again. But you can see now that he's in his werewolf form, my pet's able to tank him, though he does get killed pretty quickly. Yeah, he does a lot of damage with just his basic attacks. Probably 2 of those will kill your pet. So keep your heals up. Make sure you use the Clan Fear burst heal. And then, ouch. Yeah, he got smashed again and again. If that was me, I would be dead though. So thankfully the pet is there. I think my pet's going to die again here. Yep, so I'm going to re-summon him. And then he goes quickly back in, tanks for me, so it's all good. I'm going to back up here, drop another Ballista, and then just make sure I have Poison Injection. Punish him from range with a bunch of focused aims. Got another Bow Ultimate ready. That's the nice thing about being a red guard, that cost reduction of weapon skills. And he is done. So with that, that's the whole thing. We do finish off all 6 world bosses of the Greymoor chapter with just a bow and a couple of pets. Getting that Defender of Western Skyrim achievement, and this build just has been a lot of fun to play. If you haven't checked it out yet, there'll be a link for the build video in the description below. Of course, links to my social media and website are down there as well, and there is a written guide for the build also in case you want to check that out too. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it. If you're new and you want to see more content for ESO just like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button with your notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. Big shout out to our current channel members who are going out of their way to support the channel financially. You are amazing. Hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you around in the next video.